So, friends, we have already discussed several aspects and issues which are connected with Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, blockchain. Up till now, my idea was that you should be clear about the concept of blockchain, what it can do, what is the rationale, and what is mathematical currency, what is the difference between cryptocurrency and the normal digital banking system. So, I have given you a fairly good idea about the basic concepts of both Bitcoin as well as blockchain. Now, friends, I would share with you a interesting incident which is related to Bitcoin, very popular incident which happened in the year 2010 when a Florida man named Laszlo Hanies posted on a Bitcoin forum a sum of 10,000 Bitcoins in exchange for pizza. The price of pizza at that time was worth around $41. A British man obliged by ordering two large pizzas from Papa John's to deliver it to the person's place, the address which was given in the forum post, and in exchange for 10,000 bitcoins. It was the first time recorded any real world transaction actually took place this way, and that was the idea of the person, that he really wanted to use Bitcoin to carry out certain kind of real life transaction using the Bitcoin. Now, today that sum is approximately around $200 million worth. When this incident was written, at that time the price of that 10,000 Bitcoin was almost $70 million. But at present it is more than $200 million. However, even today there are not many establishments and none of the popular pizza chains who would easily accept the Bitcoin for delivering the pizza. But looking at the price of one Bitcoin, which is more than $60,000 now, so I think anybody who knows about Bitcoin would be glad to accept Bitcoin if it is being paid in handsome amount. So this is a very interesting incident, and it's a real incident actually. The person who gave 10,000 Bitcoin, if he would have kept that Bitcoin with him, so today that would have been worth more than $200 million. And he actually ate pizza for that. So it's very interesting and very weird kind of incident which happened. Of course, it was not weird at that time when this actually happened. But this incident is very, very popular. It is also called $70 million pizza incident. And you can still not purchase that pizza. So when it was written about a year and a half back, so this incident became very, very popular on social media. So I wanted to share with you this particular incident. It will give you an idea about the stupendous and very unbelievable rise of Bitcoin price. So this rise of Bitcoin is very strange and very mysterious in some ways. That the reason attributed to this kind of unprecedented rise of Bitcoin, which is today something like $60,000 for one Bitcoin. So it is attributed to the question of demand and supply. So one thing is very sure that there are a lot of people who really want to buy Bitcoin for some of the transaction, and it is the preferred currency for some of the people in the market. So there is a demand, but the supply, as I had mentioned to you, that the only way the Bitcoin can enter into the real life is through the block rewards, and every 4 years those block rewards gets halved. So almost approximately 20 million bitcoins are already in the market. That amount is very small, and slowly it will keep on decreasing. That supply of bitcoin entering into the system will keep on decreasing. So by 2030, 99% of the possible bitcoins, as per the algorithm of the Bitcoin software, would be already mined. So only 1% will remain to be mined until 2140. So more than 100 years, the people will be mining this remaining 1% of the possible Bitcoin supply. So kind of uh, this kind of lack of supply and unprecedented demand is fueling the rise of price of Bitcoin, which, as I just mentioned to you, is already above $60,000 for a Bitcoin. So these are some of the facts about the cryptocurrency, the most popular cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin. But let me tell you that my main focus in this course is not the cryptocurrency or the Bitcoin. My main focus in this course is the e-commerce applications of the blockchain technology, and that is what I really want to discuss more and more. And I will also relate these applications of the blockchain technology to the international trading system, foreign trade, exports, imports, because as per my understanding, that is where the best use of blockchain technology exists. But before I talk about some of the very interesting applications of the blockchain technology, I'll give you some idea about the Bitcoin mining operations which are happening around the world. Now, the very important aspect of Bitcoin mining is that the solo mining, that means the one person mining for Bitcoin, is very impractical and not profitable, as it would take statistically and with the kind of probability of guessing the hash, that is the magic number, an average of 57 years to mine just one block worth of rewards of Bitcoin. So one person spending whole of his life would probably get, if at all he gets, the rewards of the mining of one block, and today which is 6.5 Bitcoin per block. So it is impractical. So what is required is the concept of mining pools. So people have to pool their computing powers to reduce this 57 years to a week or a month, like that. So depending on how many people pool together in guessing game. So the mining pool concept is the only solution to reduce the average duration required to mine just one block worth of rewards. So what happens in a mining pool is that the number of people who are in a mining pool, they pool their computational and hashtag powers and split the rewards, whatever the rewards they get, equally. So more the number of people, they will get less reward, but the guessing game will be faster, and the chances of getting more and more Bitcoin mined would be higher. Now, mining pool again have certain practical difficulties in the sense that everybody is using their own computing power, and they have to maintain hardware, they have to use their electricity in a way that sometimes it can be very expensive even when pooled together. So what has happened that the concept of cloud mining has been introduced in this Bitcoin mining ecosystem. So in this cloud mining, you need not own the equipments. You rent out the portion of the rigs, the mining rigs, so called. A rig basically is a collection of large number of dedicated computer servers having specialized hardware meant for this purpose only, for Bitcoin mining purpose only. And these rigs, you rent out the portion of this rig maintained by professional companies who does rig mining in more favorable cold places like in China, where there are some cold areas and they are having dirt cheap electricity there, and they are able to make better profits in the Bitcoin mining because they are professional miners, they use specialized hardware, they use cheaper electricity, and the result of this is that the cloud mining gives better rewards, better return on investment. Now, the success of this cloud mining can be gauged from the fact that 80% of the total mining in the world happens in China, and most of it happens through cloud mining system. Another place where this kind of mining happens, like in China, because as I told you that in China there are some places which are cold. Because of the cold environment, the electricity use becomes less, because you do not need electricity to cool the computer processors in cold areas, and you save electricity there. Similarly, another place is there in Iceland, where a very cheap geothermal energy is available, and again here you save electricity on the cooling of the central processor units of these computers, the computer hardwares, as well as you get cheaper electricity here in Iceland because of the availability of cheap geothermal power. Now you can see the picture of a mining rig in China. You can see the mining rigs are very very large. They use specialized hardware for this purpose, which is able to perform better for Bitcoin mining. Now, the problem out here is that the Bitcoin mining uses a very large amount of electricity, and the research says that the electricity which is used in Bitcoin mining operations is not very large when you compared the same kind of energy which you require for mining the gold. So the kind of energy which you require for the equivalent amount of gold, you use something similar kind of energy for Bitcoin mining. Now friends, like any other Big Bang technological advancement which has happened in recent past of human history, Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency also have their dark sides. the efforts are being made to reduce these pitfalls of the technology, the loopholes of the Bitcoin and the blockchain and any cryptocurrency. The concept is very similar. They have the basic processes which have their own pitfalls. So I'll just discuss for your knowledge that what are the difficulties associated with these technologies and the challenges which humans will be facing going forward. And the idea would be to reduce these challenges and reduce the impact of these challenges on the day to day life of the people, the climate, the sustainability of the earth, which is our home. So, these things I will be discussing in some details here. Now, the first and the foremost, very important loophole of the Bitcoin system is that the blockchain of Bitcoin, for example, is very heavy. So, friends, as I have mentioned to you that the blockchain contains information up till this moment and since the inception of the currency. So, for example, in the case of Bitcoin, which was introduced in 2008, so almost more than 12 years have elapsed, and during these 12 years, millions and millions of transactions have taken place in Bitcoin, and all this information is available in the single Bitcoin blockchain, which has become so heavy, it is approximately more than 200 GB for a single file. So, this kind of size creates a lot of difficulties for the companies to maintain the nodes, the full node, so called full node. And there are only few companies who actually maintains the full node. So, that to some extent defeat the purpose of the crowd unanimity, the scattered ledger, and the existence of the blockchain in several computers around the planet. So, if few companies would maintain the full node, the basic purpose will be compromised to some extent. Now, second pitfall of the blockchain technology as such, with example of Bitcoin, is that, for example, in the case of Bitcoin, there is just one common software which is used by the majority of the people. So, almost 97% of the miners of Bitcoin use the so-called Bitcoin Core software. So, Bitcoin Core software is made by a company which knows ins and outs about this software. If 97% of the Bitcoin miners are using this software, so again the very purpose of decentralized and crowd unanimity based technology gets defeated to some extent, and hence this single company which makes this Bitcoin Core software control the architecture of the software. Moreover, the software company has few people only to understand the whole system of this Bitcoin software and may be able to control the algorithm. So, this small group of people may be able to control the algorithm, rules and codes also. So, the very purpose of the elimination of the middleman, elimination of the central authority or the controlling authority to some extent gets defeated because of the common Bitcoin software being used by so many miners. So, third pitfall of the blockchain technology and with a special reference to Bitcoin is the monopoly enjoyed by certain companies for retaining the computing power. First of all, this cloud mining requires very large rigs which everybody cannot afford. They are more cost effective, they get better results, and these large cloud mining rigs are in control of a handful of top mining pools and rig owning companies who mine majority of the bitcoins and therefore control the major computing power. There is still possibility in such a case of the future 51% attack which I mentioned to you in this course when I said that if an individual or a company is able to get hold of 51% of the computing power, there is a possibility, theoretically there is a possibility of manipulating the data which is there in the Bitcoin blockchain. The fourth similar kind of loophole of Bitcoin especially in this case, which is true for all the cryptos, is that there is a monopoly of some Chinese companies who manufacture the specialized hardware which does dedicated job for Bitcoin mining, and these are called Bitcoin ASIC hardware, which is the crucial hardware for Bitcoin mining rigs. And these few very big Chinese companies control 70 to 80% of the world market of supplying this specialized computational hardware for Bitcoin mining. So again, the control of few big companies, the cartels of few big companies can severely compromise the basic idea of blockchain technology and the decentralized and unhindered and unregulated nature of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. And then friends, the fifth, another loophole of Bitcoin, which I have already mentioned to you, is that very large amount of electricity and energy is required to run these mining rigs, which is wasteful in nature and contribute to the climate change and is a question mark for the sustainability of the humankind on this planet. So friends, having said that there do exist certain pitfalls, there loopholes are there. So there is a dark side to this technology. Like many other technologies, in fact, all the technologies have their dark sides. Whether it is the advancement in transportation or the internet technology or any kind of technologies which has emerged, including the medical advancements the humankinds have made, there are certain dark sides of all these developments. So similarly, blockchain and Bitcoin also have their dark side, which I just mentioned to you. The fact remains that the efforts are required to mitigate the pitfalls of these dark side elements of blockchain and Bitcoin technology, which is being done, and in future we will see certain new innovations, new modifications in the concept so that many of these pitfalls of the darker side of this technology can be contained. Now, to talk about the business application, which is the most exciting part of blockchain technology, I would like to mention to you that while cryptocurrencies will be long drawn game for the local governments to accept and do away with the control on the monetary architecture of their countries. So it will be a far cry for the local governments to really accept the cryptocurrencies in a way they are doing already, this political based currencies. So it will really take a lot of time. But friends, the blockchain technology, other applications like smart contracts and the financial products, they do not have any such kind of apprehensions and reservations which are related to the local government regulations at least not in the way where cryptocurrencies are creating a lot of challenges for the local governments to accept in its present form. So this is the most exciting part of the blockchain technology. The other applications other than cryptocurrencies, which requires the concepts to be applied by the software developers based on these blockchain platforms like Ethereum, on which they create smart contracts and decentralized financial products and many other applications which are becoming more and more popular. And that is where the excitement lies. So, most applications of blockchain are pivoted in some kind of cryptocurrency similar to Bitcoin, but it is possible to bypass the cryptocurrencies part of the blockchain architecture. So, the most successful in recent time application has been the blockchain finance. With the help of new, more sophisticated, decentralized digital cryptocurrencies and using these smart contracts, more and more financial products are being offered using blockchain technology. Some of the examples of the blockchain finance are assets management, insurance, cross border payments, that is the foreign trade, international trade, which I have been focusing on in this particular program, and the unconventional money lending of the type which is very unconventional, and it gives better results for the lender as well as for the borrowers, and better, it provides better terms for the borrowers as well as the lenders. So these DeFi products are becoming very popular, and the commerce in these kind of financial products is increasing day by day, and it is expected that the volume of business in these financial products will cross something like $500 billion by 2025. Another very exciting business application of blockchain technology is in the smart properties. So, Internet of Things based properties, both tangible as well as intangible properties, can be brought into the domain of this smart property concept. So, these tangible or intangible properties can be linked to internet and have unique codes. Once that happens, blockchain technology can make these smart properties work like digital assets, which can be traded, which can be negotiated digitally in the virtual world. So the whole thing assumes new significance, new ease of doing things, and the better relation of the assets which are now digital assets and which are on the blockchain platform. So the trust level increases for both the parties who are transacting in smart properties or the things which are connected with smart properties. So this becomes a very exciting field of the virtual business, digital business involving real estate deals or realities or the properties which are smart properties. And then third very important and very exciting application of blockchain technology is the applications which are based on Internet of Things, very similar to what happens in the smart properties. So herein the concept is of the connected devices. Now billions of devices can be connected to internet, and those can be served in programmed manner using blockchain based algorithms and procedures. So for example, in a very large manufacturing factory, you have hundreds and thousands of machines and different parts which wear and tear with time and they need to be replaced. It is very difficult and very costly affair to maintain the spare parts for these machines in a factory all the time, and you may be requiring the spare parts when their life is over. just before they are about to become obsolete and they need to be replaced. So if these parts, these components of the machines and even the machines can be coded and put on internet and it becomes internet of things, then it is much more easier to manage on a blockchain platform on the self triggering algorithms which would alert the control room that the particular part need to be replaced, and the control room need not do anything. The automatically the blockchain based algorithm will alert the spare parts suppliers already in the domain of smart contracts with the factories, and they would automatically dispatch the parts just before they need to be replaced, and they will be replaced, thereby saving lot of money, lot of inventory cost and the idle cost for the factories, and it will serve the best example for just in time delivery of the spare parts to the factories just when they are required, and absolutely automated control, no human intervention is required, and internet of things and the algorithms of the blockchain will take care of the replacements and the obsolescence of the machinery and any kind of technical modifications which are require, any control require, even temperature controls, and so many things can be done through this internet of things applications which are based on blockchain self-triggering algorithm management, which cannot be tampered with. Then friends, similarly we have another very exciting business application of the blockchain technology in the form of smart supply chain. And when we say smart supply chain, we are talking about the supply chain in very large areas, especially connected with the international transactions, international movements of goods through sea routes, by air, by surface, or by trucks, whatever means these supply chains, smart supply chains can be brought in the domain of blockchain platforms, which requires something called supply chain sensors, which are nothing but the tagging of the boxes, the pieces which are being moved from one place to another place, one country to another country, and these sensors can track the boxes and the cases and the pallets and the components. The supply chain sensors give companies capability to trace their shipments around the globe in the international foreign trade transactions through internet. Blockchain stores, manages and transfer these information in smart decided steps controlled by the self-triggering algorithms which are already there in the blockchain domain. On the things like Ethereum platforms, the programs are already developed by the specialized program developers who specialize into creating either the smart contracts or this kind of supply chain management solutions. Then finally, the most exciting part of the business application of blockchain technology is in the smart commerce. So friends, in the smart commerce, the basic foundation is the smart contracts. Now these smart contracts are without any third party interference. So first and the second party are already there. It gives an opportunity for a speedy redressal of the contract conditions. It gives, it eliminates the role of third party. It makes things much cheaper to handle, and these smart contracts has many extensions which are self-triggering, and they can trigger the dispatch of goods, as I just mentioned in one of my examples of the Internet of Things. So these smart contracts have very strong application in international trade, and it can actually help a lot to small and medium enterprises. They will benefit from the trust which they can easily put in these smart contracts without the need of any third party intervention, and reducing drastically the cost of contracting and risk management of the commercial risk, as well as the other kinds of risks which are associated with international trading transactions. So smart commerce can revolutionize the trade transactions by reducing costs and by reducing the time, as well as the uncertainty and the need for litigations, costly litigation. So smart contracts are self-executing IFTTT, if this then that. So IFTTT embedded contracts which stay on the blockchain platforms and get executed in a pre-decided manner, pre-agreed manner. So friends, this is the biggest revolution which has been brought by the blockchain, where the local governments would have no objections to, and if blockchain technology is largely used for these kind of smart contracts in foreign trade, it is a very welcome step, and it is being already done. So I will explain to you little more into the detail of the application in the foreign trade in my subsequent slides. So if we look at the indicative direct benefit to the exporters, as per the recent research which is done, for the direct cost benefit to the exporters, I'm not talking of the many other indirect cost benefits which exporters will have, using smart contract based on blockchain, immediate and long term benefits are given below. So as you can see here, there are 3 and 4 components for the benefits accruing to the small and medium exporters in terms of bank charges, in terms of transportation cost, in terms of other intermediary cost, and of course the foreign exchange management cost. So if we look at the recent research, on an average, the component of the bank charges in the international transaction is currently of the order of almost 20%, which can immediately be reduced to 10% using the smart contracts, and in the long term it can be brought down to 2-3% of the total transaction cost. Similarly, transportation cost element, which at present hover around almost 25%, depending on whether it is a sea shipment or it is a air shipment, but the same can be reduced almost by 5%, from 25% to 20%, and in the long term it can be reduced to just 15% of the total transaction cost by using the blockchain technology. Similarly, other intermediaries cost like consolidators or the guarantors, the quality certificate providers, and many other intermediaries which are there, the present cost component is almost 10% of the total transaction cost in the foreign trading. It can be easily brought down to almost 5%. And then the maximum benefit would come in the foreign exchange management, which currently stand somewhere around 6 to 7% of the total transaction cost, and it can be immediately brought to 2-3%, and in the long term it can be brought to nil. So friends, all these bank charges, the bank's role can be entirely eliminated. So in terms of transportation cost, the other intermediary cost like consolidators, guarantors, financiers, credit guarantors, and due diligence provider, services provider. So those intermediary costs can be easily reduced. And definitely use of cryptocurrency, if allowed on a global level for international transaction, which should be done by most of the local governments for the genuine international transaction, the foreign exchange cost can be brought down to almost nil in the long run. So these are the direct benefits which can be accrued to the exporters. Now, if we look at the another application for the benefit of the international traders of the blockchain, if the blockchain technology can be adopted by the international online marketplaces like Amazon, Shopify, Etsy.com, and many others, so global selling can be more effective, cost effective, and safe for both exporters as well as for the importers if they are based on blockchain based platforms. Main benefit would be the reduction in the cost of global selling on international marketplaces like Amazon, also international fulfillment by the exporters as well as by the marketplace teams if they provide such services like Amazon FBA services. It would be much more transparent, it would be much more cost effective, and what I foresee in near future is the entry of new international marketplaces which will be competing with the likes of Amazon global selling platform, and these new marketplaces would definitely be based on the blockchain technology and they will provide better value to the subscribers. And it is to be noted that these blockchain based platform will provide better marketing value to the exporters because of the increased trust of the importers on the offerings made by the subscribers of these international marketplaces, that is the exporters. So it will serve as an important marketing tool for exporters if they are present on the blockchain based environment. So finally, these international marketplaces which are based on the blockchain technology will provide a new kind of operational efficiency which would mean better price for the exporters. So friends, this is the race for benefiting from the blockchain technology for the countries. So whoever brings it fast and do it before any other places do it, they local governments have a great role to play. They have to provide the right regulations and right protocols and rules and guidelines for carrying out the blockchain based international trading activities and their alignment with the customs and the local tax authorities. So that is the work which has to be done very fast by the local governments, and whoever does it fast, it will definitely benefit the MSME sectors, that is the micro, small and medium exporters from those countries.